Hey everyone, welcome to Reality TV News Update, the place where we bring you the latest updates, fun moments, and behind-the-scenes stories you won't want to miss. The Florida sun hadn't even reached its full brightness when the first waves of Big Brother 27 Houseguests began touching down at Orlando International Airport. Rolling suitcases, neon lanyards, and the unmistakable, excited buzz of reality TV personalities filled the arrivals terminal as fans snapped photos and whispered to each other. Nearly the entire BB27 cast was reunited for the first time since the finale, not for drama, not for an eviction, and not for a twist, but rather for Over the Edge, a major charity event this weekend in downtown Orlando. And of course, no one could resist pairing their charity trip with something equally thrilling, a weekend at Disney World. After a season filled with explosive alliances, jaw-dropping blindsides, unforgettable feuds, and some of the most iconic diary room moments in recent memory, the cast was ready for something lighter, something magical, something that didn't involve competitions or backstabbing and included rides and snacks in the shape of Mickey. This was that weekend. A gathering that deserves a live feed flashback. At the center of the airport chaos stood Rachel Riley, easily spotted thanks to her signature bright red hair and glittery BB27 hoodie. She took a selfie picture with her phone and shared it with her followers. "We're back, y'all," she shouted, her voice echoing through the terminal. "Reunion of BB27 in Orlando. Who's ready to go over the edge for charity? And perhaps most importantly, Disney." A couple nearby castmates groaned, laughing. Keanu Soto, one of them, rolled his eyes violently. He made a joke, saying, "You're gonna blow out your voice before we even get to the parks." Rachel didn't blink an eye. "It's brave of you to believe that I ever had a volume control." The nearby fans roared with laughter. People gathered around to ask for pictures, and the cast happily signed autographs. It felt like the Big Brother after-party that never ended, just relocated to the Sunshine State. Within the hour, more houseguests arrived. Catherine in oversized sunglasses and a Minnie Mouse headband she claimed she just happened to already own. Riley carrying 2 backpacks at once and already live streaming on Instagram. Brendan pushing a cart full of boxes containing donations for the charity event. As if the finale had ended 5 minutes ago, Zach and Leela continued to complete each other's sentences. Tessa, who waved a massive iced coffee like a trophy. Even Marco, who told his followers that he wasn't emotional, could clearly be seen crying when he saw his castmates hugging each other. Soon, a group of BB27 alums gathered in the middle of the airport in a circle, hugging, yelling, and exchanging frantic greetings that could have easily been B-roll from the show. Riley and Catherine steal the spotlight again. Whether they liked it or not, fan-favorite duo and sometimes couple, Riley and Catherine instantly became the center of attention. After a rocky season together filled with ups, downs, and more than a few arguments that became meme material, the internet had not stopped asking about them. As the two hugged tightly in the arrivals hall, fans watching from afar whispered excitedly. "They're back together," someone shouted. "I knew they'd reunite." Catherine laughed when she noticed the cameras. "Guys, we just landed, literally. Let me get a pretzel before the shipper conspiracy theories start again." She was nudged by Riley. "It's late. The cameras are already tweeting." Still, neither moved away from the other. If anything, they looked relieved to be together in the real world, without microphones or America's vote hanging over their heads. Disney World? The cast approves. Rachel was the one who declared the unavoidable. "Disney will be our first stop. Charity tomorrow. Tonight rides, always a snack." Everyone agreed. By noon, the BB27 cast had divided into 2 enormous rideshare vans, one of which was jokingly designated as Team Heroes and the other as Team Villains, although which one was which was entirely up to the person who asked. There was never a break in the joking. "Why are we the van of the bad guys?" Marco complained. Rachel smirked. "Because you kept saying you were misunderstood all season. That's bad guy energy." "Misunderstood is not villain energy," he voiced his disillusion, but no one heard him. Both vans were filled with cheers as they passed the famous Disney welcome arch. Even the driver laughed. "Y'all Big Brother people sure don't hide your excitement," he said. "Sir, we've been trapped in a house for months. We deserve magic." Magic Kingdom madness. Naturally, the Magic Kingdom should be the group's first stop. They dispersed like ecstatic children once inside. Rachel and Brendan sprinted towards Space Mountain. Riley dragged Catherine into line for Thunder Mountain while filming the whole thing. Zach and Tessa insisted on buying matching shirts before riding anything. Marco and Keanu bought turkey legs solely so they could recreate their infamous turkey leg argument from week 4. Fans in the park recognized them instantly. BB27, a young person yelled and waved wildly. OMG, can you guys do the eviction walk? Another voice yelled. Marco immediately grabbed Keanu by the hand. Let's recreate our double eviction moment. Keanu sighed. I'm literally trying to eat. Nope, drama first, food comes last. Even so, they reenacted it to applause. Even the cast couldn't deny it. They loved the attention. They posed for fan photos, signed hats, and even recorded a quick "Go Mickey" chant for a family who recognized them from the season's iconic talent show competition. The group ride of destiny. It's a small world. By late afternoon, the entire group managed to reunite for one ride. Not Space Mountain, not the movie Pirates of the Caribbean, not Big Thunder Mountain. It's a small world. We need something relaxing after all the screaming, Rachel declared. Catherine laughed. Speak for yourself. Riley screamed loud enough for 10 people on Space Mountain. Riley did not dispute it. I was beaming with joy. As the boat gently drifted along as the familiar music played, the cast immediately burst into chaotic harmony. Well, chaotic noise might have been more accurate. Oh my God, stop singing, Marco begged. You love it, Rachel shot back. It was silly, tranquil, and surprisingly healthy, something that wouldn't have happened in the BB House's competitive atmosphere. Dinner, drama, and a shocking confession. Dinner reservations were set at the ever-popular BR Guest restaurant, where the cast gathered around a long banquet-style table in the grand ballroom. The mood was light, the food was fantastic. The Beast made an appearance, causing Rachel to gasp so loudly the server almost dropped a tray. Uncannily, as typical of this group, the most amusing Big Brother memories eventually became the topic of conversation, until it didn't. So, Riley said casually, stirring his drink, are we going to talk about the elephant in the room? The table went silent. Which one? Marco asked cautiously. There were many elephants. The Week 7 blindside, Riley clarified, where half of you told me straight lies. A number of cast members groaned. Tessa, rubbing her forehead, asked Riley, Oh my God, this again? What? I'm not mad anymore. I just want everyone to acknowledge how iconic it was. Catherine stated, It was iconic. You looked like you saw a ghost. I believed my game was over. It was, Rachel said cheerfully, and everyone burst into laughter. Even Riley admitted he found it funny now. This was the beauty of their reunion. No play, no betrayals, no votes to cast, nothing but memories. Good, bad, hilarious, and often absurd. A reality TV quality nighttime ending. The actors went back into the park after dinner to watch the nighttime fireworks. The lights went out and people crowded around Cinderella Castle, and the music got louder. Catherine put her head on Riley's shoulder as she spoke. Brendan put an arm around Rachel. Marco and Keanu elbowed each other during the emotional parts, but they were clearly moved. Even Tessa, who said she didn't cry on fictional stuff, wiped her eyes once. As the fireworks burst across the sky, Rachel whispered, Okay, this beats any HOH win. Everyone agreed. The cast wasn't thinking about competition or strategy or who betrayed who. America's vote, hashtags, and alliances were not on their minds. They were thinking about the fact that somehow this odd group of strangers had become something resembling a family. A dysfunctional, loud, dramatic family, but a family nonetheless. Tomorrow, over the edge. As the night ended and the group walked towards the exit, they knew the real purpose of their Orlando trip was coming. Tomorrow, they would stand on top of the Orlando high-rise known for the annual Over the Edge charity rappel. They'd look over the edge, literally, and descend the building to raise funds for children in need. Some people were excited. Some people were terrified. Some pretended they weren't terrified, but absolutely were. But they were doing it together. Remember, Brendan said as they headed for the parking lot, no backing out. Catherine raised an eyebrow. I saw you on Tower of Terror. You screamed first.
That was different, Brendan said, flustered. Uh-huh, sure it was, Rachel teased. Laughing, bickering, and exhausted from the most magical kind of chaos, the BB27 houseguests climbed into their vans and headed back to their hotel, ready for tomorrow's challenge, whatever fears it brought, whatever cheers it earned. Friendship had been the topic of the night. Tomorrow would be about courage, and the whole weekend, unforgettable. Just
The noise
like
level
Big
in
Brother.
Orlando International Airport's arrivals hall rivaled that of a live eviction night. Suitcases rolled, fans whispered excitedly, and airport staff kept glancing over as a small avalanche of familiar faces streamed in. The Big Brother 27 cast, still beloved months after their season wrapped, was officially reuniting for the Over the Edge charity event happening this weekend in downtown Orlando. However, if you know this cast, you are aware that they did not stop at charity. They were also going to Walt Disney World, because who could pass up a chance to mix theme park magic with a reality TV reunion? The first HGs arrive at Touchdown and Turn Up. The commotion was already being documented by the first guests to the house. Rachel Riley swung her phone around like a selfie queen, recording a breathless update for her followers. All right, you guys, BB27 reunion in Orlando. We're going over the edge for charity. And if you think I'm not dragging everyone to Disney the second we drop our bags, oh, you don't know me at all. Brendan followed her behind with a luggage cart full of the event's gear seconds later. We are absolutely doing Disney, he confirmed, already laughing at Rachel's energy. I just don't know if the park is ready for us. Catherine followed, rolling a pale pink suitcase. She was wearing a pair of Minnie Mouse ears to the airport, claiming it was a state of mind, not a costume. The ears nearly fell off when Riley ran up behind her and pulled her into a dramatic spin hug. You better be ready for every roller coaster, she nudged his shoulder. Only if you were prepared to scream like the previous time. I screamed one time. You screamed on Space Mountain, Riley, before the start of the ride. Fans in the vicinity burst into laughter as a result of their argument. A few minutes later, Tessa, Marco, Keanu, and the remainder of the cast showed up, each greeted with cheers from watching travelers who recognized them from the show. "Where is Julie Chen?" someone yelled. Marco spread his arms dramatically. "Right here, just shorter and with worse time management skills." The emotional reunion. The hugs were long, loud, and chaotic, exactly how fans expected this cast to be. Zach tried to film a slow-motion reunion video for social media, but gave up after the 10th interruption. On a Friday morning, how come there are so many people in the airport? He made a playful complaint. Lila made a point of the group, because this group is basically a walking circus. Even the staff at the airport joined in, attempting to maintain professionalism by asking for autographs. One TSA officer whispered to another, "That's the girl who cried during the veto comp. I know it's her." Disney World is next stop. After a brief check-in at their hotel, the group made a unanimous decision. Magic Kingdom first, charity prep later. 2 vans were summoned. The cast immediately decided to name them Team Heroes and Team Villains, a joke referencing their season's dramatic rift. Nobody agreed on which van should be which. Rachel, obviously I'm in the Heroes van. You literally instigated half the drama, Keanu said. That's called being entertaining, sweetie. The vans rolled toward Disney World, excitement erupting when they passed the iconic entrance arch. Riley practically pressed his face against the window. I feel like a child, a happy, overstimulated child. Magic Kingdom mayhem. If anyone at the park thought it would be a calm Friday, they clearly weren't prepared for a pack of Big Brother personalities. The moment they entered the park, the group scattered like kids released for recess. Rachel and Brendan to Space Mountain. Tessa and Lila to a merch shop. We need matching shirts or we aren't doing this right. Riley and Catherine to Thunder Mountain, filming a joint vlog. Marco and Keanu straight to a food cart. Turkey legs are a priority, not a luxury. Zach to whatever had the shortest line. They were spotted near Cinderella Castle by a group of excited fans who rushed over. "Oh my God, BB27!" Squealing was heard. "Can you walk the eviction?" another begged. Keanu grabbed Marco dramatically. "Let's recreate our double eviction fight." Marco groaned. "I don't want to go viral again for my trauma." They recreated it anyway. The cast and crew laughed as they posed for a slew of pictures with the audience. "We're not in the house anymore," Tessa said. "We're in the happiest place on earth. Our drama has been downgraded to PG. A ride they'll never forget." To everyone's shock, the cast finally united for It's a Small World, a peaceful, cheerful, very not Big Brother-like ride. "This is so wholesome," Lilith said. "This is so chaotic," Marco corrected, as Rachel loudly attempted to harmonize with the ride music. The passengers in the next boat quietly filmed the whole thing. Riley leaned toward Catherine. "This is nicer than a room for HOH." She nodded. "Fewer cameras, better lighting." Dinner at BR Guest. Inside the Beast's castle, where servers carried plates like floating magic and chandeliers sparkled, the group gathered for dinner. When the Beast appeared, Rachel let out a loud gasp. "Oh my God, this is just what I needed!" Dinner conversations drifted from life updates to season memories. At one point, Riley brought up the infamous Week 7 blindside. "I'm not mad anymore," he insisted. "I just need everyone here to admit it was legendary television." Catherine gave him a pat. "You looked like someone unplugged you." "And it was beautiful," Rachel added. The table erupted into laughter, the kind that comes only from people who survived something wild together. Fireworks and feelings. By the time they exited the restaurant, it was nearly time for the nightly fireworks show. As the lights dimmed around Cinderella Castle, the cast stood amidst happy children, couples, and families. When the music swelled and the fireworks exploded, something shifted, something soft and heartwarming. Normally arguing and loud, the cast completely stopped talking. Catherine and Riley were leaning against each other. Brendan wrapped an arm around Rachel. Even Marco and Keanu softened, watching the bursts of color above the castle. "This beats any competition twist," Rachel said in a whisper. Tomorrow's challenge, going over the edge. As the group walked back toward their transportation, still glowing from the fireworks, the mood shifted from playful to determined. Tomorrow, they would rappel down the side of a downtown Orlando skyscraper for the Over the Edge charity event, raising money for families and children in need. Some people were happy, some people were terrified. Some insisted they weren't terrified, but obviously were. But they were doing it together. "It will be fine," Brendan said. "We'll scream the whole way down," Catherine added. "I won't scream," he insisted. "You screamed on Space Mountain, Riley," she reminded him. He had no comeback. A reunion to remember. As they boarded their vans and headed toward the hotel, laughter echoed inside both vehicles. Whatever tomorrow brought, fear, adrenaline, charity, or chaos, they were ready. Today was about fun. Tomorrow would be about courage. And the entire weekend, pure Big Brother magic.